Today in our shop, we got in this old chest of drawers. My dad actually made this in high school in 1968. We're going to take this thing and refinish it, get it pulled apart, fix all the glue lines. There's some defects that I'll give you a closer look at. As you can see, got a little chip here. Luckily the piece was kept, so we'll be able to glue that back in. Some of the drawers, a little bit of separation that we'll need to fix. See that on both sides of this one. The finish just has some scuffs, dings, dents from being moved around for so many years. The hardware definitely needs to be changed and updated. And then we've got some separation of the joints. The whole side panel has come loose a little bit on both sides. So what we're going to do is take it apart, get everything sanded down, glue cleaned up, get it refinished and refitted. Okay, so the first thing we got to do here is get this old plywood back off the chest of drawers. Plywood does not age very well, and please do try not to get distracted by my cheeseburger mouse pad. So our initial thought here was spray it down with some water, use a heat gun, and try to loosen up all these glue joints so we could get this completely pulled apart and start the refinishing from scratch. Unfortunately, this did not work out very well at all, and we had to try something a little bit different. So instead, what we did was turn our parallel clamps into spreading clamps, applied the same kind of heat, and started pushing apart the lower part where the cabinet actually wasn't square anymore. We would start at the bottom and get those pieces apart as much as we could, just so we could get more glue in, put the clamping pressure back on, and strengthen those joints. This worked a lot better, even though we couldn't pull the whole thing apart, but it got the job done. Okay, so after we got that spread apart as best as we could, we laid it down on some flat spot in the garage as best as we could, and just started squeezing glue in all of those joints that were loose. Put some clamping pressure back on, try to get everything squared back up as best as possible. It took a lot of glue and a lot of clamps. I think we did the best we could with what we had. While the glue was drying on the case, I decided to get to work on the drawers themselves. There were a few of them that had quite a bit of separation from the drawer face to the drawer body. It's really just the way that they were constructed. And these rabbits kind of split apart over time from, well, me and my brother probably hanging off the drawer faces when we were kids and climbing on top of them, but also just move and wear and tear. So best thing I could do was separate those as much as I could and squeeze a bunch of glue in, get some clamps back on them, and hope that they squared up, which they did. There were a few of these triangles that were made for the shelf support frames to keep everything kind of square over time that had come loose. Decided to try to take off as much glue just to put them back in instead of cutting new ones, so I sanded and used a chisel. And yeah, I know I could have used a plane and a shooting board, but I didn't think about it at the time. Just decided to do it the hard way. I'm really just not that smart. There were some pretty deep gouges on the sides of the case that Brittany clearly disapproves of. So she's taking some water, a wet t-shirt, and a steam iron and she's actually just lifting those fibers of wood and getting that scratch to come out. There were just a few of these, but you know, when you move furniture around a lot over 50 years, you're bound to get some dings and dents and scratches, and this is really the best way to get those out of furniture. I know I skipped all the videos of her sanding, but here comes the sanding montage next for you, just for you people that can't get enough sanding. This case got dinged up quite a bit over the years from a lot of moves, and probably from me and my brother destroying it, but other than that, it was in decent shape. So what Brittany's doing here is she's laying out some marks where we put some adjustable feet on each corner, and that way, no matter what floor it's sitting on, we can get it level, and for the second part, it will always protect the bottom from getting dinged and scratched up when it's moved around and dragged across the floor. And more importantly, it protects our floors. Well, that's more importantly according to Brittany, but you know, she's the boss, so I just let her do what she wants to do. Now it's on to finish, so let's see how quick Brittany can put up this makeshift spray booth. And she is moving with her patented cooler step stool thingy. Yeah, that's pretty fast. I know this is the part of the video where you find people of the internet tell us that we are insane for trying to spray polyurethane in a two-car garage, but as you can see, Brittany is wearing her respirator. We have our makeshift spray booth set up as best as we can, and not pictured is a fan with a filter that is helping pull particles out of the air. After she's done spraying, she always opens the garage a little bit and helps get all that stuff out of there, but this is not the ideal way to do spraying, but it is the best finish. So while she's in the shop with her respirator, I'm probably sitting on the couch playing video games, so I'm safe, she's safe, everybody is good. So take that, internet. After a lot of coats of finish and a few days of drying, it's on to the hardware. We replaced the stock hardware with some soft iron handles. I think they look really nice, and it's kind of a tip of the hat towards my dad's trade. I'm not going to bore you with the installation of all the drawer handles because, I mean, they're drawer handles. They all look the same. They all go on the same way. Some of the drawer holes weren't completely in line with the 5-inch spread for the handles, so we had to maneuver them a little bit, but other than that, this is pretty straightforward. The only thing left to do is to put the back on. We decided to go with just some thin fiberboard. Plywood, it's pretty expensive right now, so we went for a cheaper option, and it seems to work okay, and it's going to be against the wall, so, you know, nobody's going to see it anyway. Okay, so we got the refinishing job done on this chest of drawers. Like I said, my dad made this in his shop class in 1968. So it's held up for over 50 years, and I think it came out pretty well. Although we couldn't break it down as much as we wanted to refinish each piece individually and put it back together, we were able to get it apart enough to square everything back up and refinish everything to get it looking brand new again. We replaced the stock hardware, which was old and broken, with some soft iron pulls. My dad was a metal worker fabricator, so it was a little nod to him. And unlike our last chest of drawers that we had in here, these drawers are really nice and deep and plenty of storage. So that one's done. I think this is a great video to have up on Father's Day, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.